and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would note for the record that Mr. Trable is definitely going to be coming. Ms. Johnson and Mr. Roof apparently will not be here. As usual, the first item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes of the May 2nd meeting. I turned in my corrections. There were several small ones. And they were as follows. We changed the word things for zoning, things. We made it applications and reviews. We changed the wording of the recycle bins.
Did you capture some of the typos?
I'm sorry?
Did you capture some of the typos?
Yes. It's the Shade Tree Commission, not the Arbor Day Commission. Judge Zinelli's first name was spelled wrong, and the word venue under health and sanitation report is wrong. They inquired about whether we're having sheriff sales. Those are the ones I found. Are there any others? Hearing and seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Ms. Jordan, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Graham, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, there are no presentations. Privilege of the floor. Anybody sign up? Mrs. Lyon, anybody sign up? No? Anybody wish to address council on an agenda item? Hearing and seeing none, there are no draft or resolutions. There are no draft ordinances. Old business, playground. I believe we have a candidate, and we may have two candidates.
We have actually numerous interests. We have a coordinator appointment for tonight. I did the interview. The Recreation Committee directed me to just handle it. She was in. She is a very promising young lady who happens to be the daughter of our former Public Works Supervisor. So she can do both day and evening and is excited to do so. So you'll have that before you a little bit later. Do we have any idea yet on what we're looking for in regard to dates? What's been, what has been done in the past, or what you want to do for this year?
That was one of the questions I was going to ask Ms. Johnson, who's not here.
Well, school, the last day of school in the Bethlehem area is the 9th, I think, that Friday.
And
Yeah.
traditionally, we started the Monday following
Yes.
the last day of school, and we went till like the middle of August. And I believe we're gonna once again have the morning program from 9 to noon, and we're gonna have the evening program from 6 to 9. Is that correct?
That is correct. So the last day of school is, what did you say again, June 9th?
Yes.
So then that would be June 13th would be the next Monday.
Oh.
And it's kind of nice to,
The 9th of Thursday.
Okay.
and it's kind of nice to see a return to
Okay.
normal.
How many assistants are we looking to hire? So we've got the coordinator. Are we thinking 3 assistants per session for a total of 4 at the playground is a good number?
I
Yeah.
don't think that would be enough.
Yeah.
Okay, because we are, like I said, we're getting some interest in a young man tonight, interested. So it looks like we've got 3, potentially 4 for the daytime, and with this young man, we probably have 3, potentially 4 for the evening. So we take the ad down shortly, so things are shaping
Will
up.
the morning people, they'll do the evening too?
Some of them, Kaylee will do both
Right.
as the coordinator, but there are some that only want to do, her
Okay.
younger brother only wants to do mornings,
Okay,
so,
that's understandable.
yeah.
All right, is there anything else on that?
No, really, I was just looking for an idea on the dates, because they're asking, so.
Yeah, looking on the BS website, the last day is the 8th. So the following.
So the following Monday would be good then, that 13th. So we'll shoot for that, which is good. And
I would think at least the middle of August if the help stays.
yeah, I mean, we'll
That's
shoot for
usually
that,
what
and then
it's always determined by whoever, if it's college kids, if they're going back to school.
yeah, so we'll look at that and see if we can extend it to the end of August or if the middle, whenever their return to school is. So, but that's fine. That's really all I was looking for with that. There were some paint issues up there that appear to be spray paint. Investigator Krasley was working on that, and I believe got some good footage, Chief.
Yeah, and I guess I got good footage of his car parked up there with Jason helping him do the investigation, that they complained about, disrupting a basketball game with nobody at the court.
There was nobody there. There was
Yeah,
nobody
wasn't anybody
there.
No, it's just
It's just.
nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's recovered. I don't know how, I didn't see it, so I can't comment on it. But he was up there, they were working on the password and it reset twice, so I'm not sure exactly what he got, but.
Yeah, I think from what he was saying earlier, they got a pretty decent picture, so they're running down some leads on those kids. So one of the other points of discussion we had in relation to the playground that actually happened at a Public Works Committee meeting. But one of Mr. Quarry's suggestions is that we lock the rims for 2 weeks prior to the start of the playground program. So that will hopefully be a deterrent to some of the overuse of the basketball courts and potentially some of the litter problems that are up there, in anticipation of us then unlocking them when the kids start being there and we actually have some supervision at the park that will hopefully deter that.
And we'll give the Public Works Department a chance to really get the park really in shape. Because it's exciting that we're having a program again, and it would be nice to have that first day, to have all the workers and the kids and their parents come out to see a really nice, clean park.
And one of the things I've noticed, and one of the things that's always bothered me, the bottle caps, those little bottle caps, they are everywhere. They just can't be, I don't know what we can do to stop that. Maybe not so. I don't know what we can do to stop that, but it bothers me.
Well, I think that 2 weeks of having the rims locked, you might get a little blowback, but it's only 2 weeks. We just tell everybody it's a temporary situation. We're getting the park ready for the summer. And as Mr. Gratz said, the day the park opens is the day the rims will be unlocked again, and we'll go about our business. And if we find that when we discussed this in a Public Works meeting with Jason, if we find that when we do unlock them, and we have that problem again, where we have filth and garbage on a regular basis, well, then we're gonna have to revisit that, because it's really getting out of hand, and I don't think that children should have to play in it. I don't think they should come down there. Jason said he was down there the other day with a father and a little girl, and he was so embarrassed because there was filth everywhere. This little girl was playing, and they had just cleaned it the day before. So it's hard to keep up with it when you have an ongoing presence every night of people who, and as Jason said, it's not children playing basketball. It's 19 to 35-year-olds playing basketball and being just obnoxious and being filthy with all of their garbage. It's just not right. So I think that 2-week locked rims will be beneficial to everybody. I really do. So we thought we just needed a consensus for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an administrative provision there, but we wanted to get a consensus from everyone if they thought, that's a good idea to try, and we go ahead and do that 2 weeks prior to the start.
I'm in favor of it. Anybody against it? Seeing and hearing none, I think you have your consensus.
Very good.
All
Chief?
right.
Hold on, Chief said something.
Did Matt talk to you about the motorcycle and the ordinance?
Yeah, that's true. That's related to the playground as well. So, Officer Schrade discovered tonight, as he watched the gentleman not riding but sitting on a bench next to his dirt bike up above the Hosey property there in the where the dump is, that it appears, and I need to do a little bit deeper digging, but my cursory look when he called me at 5:30 tonight is that the motor vehicles are expressly prohibited from Lackawackee,
Oh, yeah.
but not any of the other parks.
Oh.
So, I mean, it should be a simple amendment. I just need to go back and make sure that when it was codified, that something wasn't codified incorrectly by general code and that they misinterpreted it. But if they didn't, then that's probably something we need to address, especially given the recent dirt bike problems in the area.
Well, I know they've driven, when the Legion was around, they've driven their vehicles up there from time to time because they couldn't walk, but the Legion's not there anymore. The Legion people are not there anymore.
Yeah, I think we want to nip that in the bud because we obviously don't want it to become a dirt bike track for
No, I
folks.
agree.
So, yeah, it was a good catch. And like I said, my cursory look tonight before the meeting, he appears to have found a hole in that. So we'll look to address it.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the Hellertown Pool Agreement. It was in your packet. I looked at it. Our residents will be able to buy season passes here at the Hellertown resident rate. They can also buy an 8-pack, I believe, here at the Hellertown resident rate. We will subsidize the difference, I believe, between the non-resident and the resident rate plus a 10% surcharge.
That is correct. And we will pay them in one lump sum at the end of the season.
And there is no break at all for people that just want to use the pool on a daily basis, an ad hoc daily basis.
No, there is one rate for their pool for dailies, and that goes for their residents as well. They just have a daily rate. So if you want to go down for one, you're paying the same as everyone else who's going down for one. Mr. Berger did have, I received that agreement in enough time to run over the police department and shove it in your packets. Mr. Berger reviewed it, and aside from some clarifications with terminology, the substance of the agreement has not changed. So if everyone's okay with that, we will have the resolution and to direct council president to engage, enter into that intermunicipal agreement on the agenda for 6/6.
Any objection to that? Hearing none, let's do it. Pool grant follow-up. There was some conversation or some talk at the last meeting about a grant being available, and you seem to be familiar with the person that has the knowledge of the grant.
Yeah, and the case is what I thought that evening. However, I refrained until I verified it. So it's Community Development Block Grant, which we receive and we are utilizing to continue reconstructing Jeter Avenue. It's also what afforded us $200,000 for the fire truck. So you can get more than one. You do compete against each other, but ultimately they will fund more than one project in a low to moderate income municipality, of which half of the borough is in the census tracts. So that's how we ended up with the funding for the fire truck. The hurdle to that is the benefit must be for 50%. 50% of the benefit must be for low to moderate income families. So obviously the fire truck serves the whole borough. 50% of the borough is low to moderate income. That meets that. The pool would need a restriction to guarantee that we are meeting that requirement. If we don't meet that requirement, it very likely stands we would have to repay the grant and could jeopardize future grants under CDBG. They don't even know how we would handle that restriction.
The enforcement would be or verification of that would be a major problem.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I suspected that evening when the lady suggested. So she's right. In talking to Ms. Moyer at the county, it's a possibility. They could fund the project. We would need to obviously figure out a way to handle all of those logistical issues to guarantee that we aren't jeopardizing using the money as indicated for low to moderate income.
And on a practical note, historically, if this pool is open and it's only open to Fountain Hill residents, we all know that there's a lot of people that come here that aren't Fountain Hill residents, and it's always been open to everyone. I mean, from the day it opened in '59. So if you're going to restrict it just to Fountain Hill residents, that's going to be a hard sell to just say, 50 people are coming and that's it. And even to police that, the people that are coming in,
and that's it. All of
That's
Fountain Hill is
burdensome,
not
really.
LMI. So Sioux Street, we're doing the Sioux Street reconstruction this year with liquid fuels and general fund monies, because Sioux Street is not in a low to moderate income census tract. So we would have to go door to door and get a survey, and you have to hit 51% of those, and you have to get 100% of the responses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, geez, that alone we walked away from because of the logistics, and that you at least have an achievable plan.
Yeah.
As far as the pool book, I don't even know how you would enforce that.
I think we just said that. All right, moving on. The Memorial Day ceremony is going to be a week from this coming Friday, the 27th of May. It'll be at the Triangle, which is directly across the street from the Little League field. I would urge everybody to come out and spend a few moments to honor our war dead, the people who gave all for our country. I believe the Bronco Band is coming. I believe at least one Legionnaire is coming. The only one who can come. And there's going to be a small program.
Yeah, that's correct.
Moderated by me.
That is correct.
All right, moving right along. The KME fire engine has been sold. It's down in Virginia, waiting to be boated down to Peru. Did we get paid?
That is correct, and yes, we got paid before I let the gentleman get in the fire truck. Came in on Saturday, and he drove up with his wife and drove home with the fire truck. And he is going to get us pictures once it goes down from Baltimore to Panama, and then actually they don't go through the canal; they take it off, and then it goes on another ship and ends up in Peru. But once it's down there, he will have his contact send us some pictures.
Did he actually drive it to Virginia, or did he put it on the back of it?
Nope, he hopped in it and drove away in the rain on that
Wow.
Saturday that it poured. Yes.
At the price of petrol. Okay. The Little League building repairs have been completed. Thank you, Jason and his crew. Anything else about that?
Nope, that's all. They were quick after the meeting and did a great job as always.
Any other old business?
Nothing that I have.
Hearing nothing, I will move on to discussion items, new business, the electronic recycling event. I believe after the last meeting, somebody asked you about that. That's anything with a plug?
Yeah, so we need to, that's why it's on here tonight, is we need to define what we want to collect. So we can certainly do anything with a plug. And then we also, obviously, Saturday is probably the best option. We would have, Republic will donate the dumpster to us. They will haul the dumpster as part of, not donate, but as part of their contract with us. And they will take it over to GER over on South 10th Street in Allentown, which does the electronics recycling, and then they would invoice the borough. We'll pay it out of health and sanitation. We have plenty of money to do that. Were we thinking a fall date would be most advantageous after Little League's over and we do it at the upper ball field there? Should we shoot like a September Saturday, you think?
That's when we've had it in the past. Now, are we gonna charge a fee ourselves, either a per item fee or a flat fee, no matter how many items?
If council would like to do that, we certainly can. I will tell you that I think we have the fund balance in the health and sanitation fund is sufficient for that. And my only thought was that given the although outside of our control, but given the issues with the hauler, I actually went and picked up somebody's trash today myself.
You do wear a number of hats.
It was after 3 o'clock and they go home. So unfortunately, those issues persist and we're continuing to work with them. But ultimately, my point is that I think it might be a nice thing this year to just use the fund balance to provide it to residents with proof of residency as part of their fees for trash. And then next year, Ms. McNeil's office will bring their recycling event back down here to Fountain Hill. They'll do it in the lower part. It's in Whitehall this year, so.
Do we want to limit the amount of items?
Good.
What's a feasible number for that?
4 or
Up
5,
to-
perhaps?
Like large electronics, so like if you have a TV or a computer, but what about like smaller electronics? Either they're redundant or they're no longer used, like VCRs or something like that. Do we want to categorize it separate?
So the only thing I would think of it is you're going to have two of the public works guys here policing this on this Saturday, so I don't want to make it overly complex. I don't mind the idea of like no more than residents only with proof of resident, either 4 or 5 items, and you choose if you want to use one of your items as a toaster versus bringing 4 TVs. But I think I think that's reasonable to kind of limit, that at least gives us an idea of capping our, expenses, that someone's not unloading, you know, their friends,
Right.
uncle's
Yeah,
television here.
we never broke it down, but I think it's a good idea too to have a limit. Cause like, as you say, you can have your proof of residence, but you have a car filled with 25 televisions from your mother's brothers, aunts, uncles that loaded it up. So, yeah, I think, Norm, wasn't it 10 items at one time?
I don't remember, I honestly don't remember.
But I think 5 is,
I think
Five
five
is
is
good.
I think a
Five
5 is a good
good.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think 5, and like I said, I think it's a nice, we have the fund balance in sanitation right now. I think it's, just given
It's
some of the
nice,
hauler
yeah.
issues. One of the things to consider for our next contract, I did reach out to Kathy at Salisbury, if they wanted to partner, and
yeah.
she politely declined because they have curbside as part of their
oh,
contract.
Wow.
So that may be
Nice.
something just to ballpark, you know, get an idea. So I'll talk to her more as we get closer to when
yeah.
our contract's up.
Anything else on that? Hearing none. Notification software. Once again, we were reaching out and notifying as many people as possible, notwithstanding a Facebook page, notwithstanding the website, notwithstanding the notices on the consumer garbage bills. So what else is there?
So one of the things, obviously, that's come out of this entire poll discussion, and even I was not at the community meeting, but from the feedback that I've heard, is that most people feel like we are not doing a very good job of communicating.
Now, one of our former mayors assured us that if only we had a website, people would know.
So one of the
But the confusing part of that, every time I hear that, is they don't know about a survey, and they don't know about a town meeting, and they don't know about anything till the minute somebody says something that wakes them up, and then all of a sudden, you have hundreds of people on social media who are on social media, and I know they are, every day, saw all those notifications. Don't tell me they don't know. You know
Well-
they know, they just,
As I have learned in 40 years of the practice of law, it's easier to say I didn't know than it is to say I knew and didn't care.
didn't care.
I will say this though, use of social media though, there are algorithms out there that will suppress notifications. So you may subscribe to the Fountain Hill Facebook page, but you may not get all of the notifications. You may not see those. So they have a valid stance to say that they may not have been aware of it.
But how about the website?
The website is totally different.
But it's usually the
social
same
media is-
people that you see on social media. That if they didn't see anything, if they aren't getting those notifications on the different Fountain Hill sites to see all this information, how are they now on there complaining? How are they,
I think that's where word of mouth has come in.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just,
It was right on a sewer bill, right under total due. How can you miss that?
Well, and I think there were also some signs at some of the businesses here in town.
there were 1,000 flyers put out for that meeting. 1,000 flyers
And it was
put out
announced-
for that meeting.
And it was announced at every council meeting. I don't know what else we can possibly do.
Well,
So-
Norm, you had an idea last time. You said we should just hire a town crier.
That's true.
With
Well,
a bell.
so there's
walk
Mark is
up
here,
and
and
down.
he's a member of the press.
there's an electronic town crier actually. So what some of the other municipalities do, including Hellertown and Albertus, where I live, is there's various softwares out there that allow you to opt in, and you can get text alerts, email alerts, or phone calls with either a recorded voice or my wonderful voice recording, or we can hire a voice model.
Like a school chain.
Like a school chain, exactly. So there's obviously a cost associated with those, but there are probably 100 different options out there. The one Hellertown uses is really neat. It might be a little bit overkill for what we need. Albertus uses a legacy product of a company that got swallowed up by another company, so kind of a little more expensive than what they're paying. But I can continue looking at what's out there if that's something that council would like to see incorporated here in the borough. But I don't want to do it without, knowing that it's going to be a dead issue. So
I think it's a good idea.
I guess it doesn't hurt. I'd like to see the cost involved.
Exactly, I was just gonna say, I'd like to see what that's gonna cost.
yeah, and so you're talking. I mean, Chief, do you know what Nixle was?
Nixle is free, but there is a.
The paid version of it.
Paid version of
Yeah.
it. We use the free version, but Nixle kind of died.
That's the thing. So there's the one Hellertown uses is GIS based, so it ties into our GIS system that we have here. And the nice thing about those is like when you have an issue, you can draw a polygon on the screen around a certain block or house or set of houses and say police incident, shelter in place. Bethlehem's flushing hydrants, you're going to have dirty water. There's a water main break. There's a sewer issue. Ostrom Street's going to be closed like it has been all week. Those types of things can get communicated out. And for folks who, the hurdle is getting people to sign up. So the tech savvy people are going to get their text messages. They're going to sign up for all that stuff. But those are the same folks who are probably getting the social media and the website. The thing that we really have to do is and we probably can do it at the window here because we have such a large amount of residents who come in and actually pay bills in person that the ladies could sign folks up who just have a home phone. And then Mr. Trable can hear my voice when there's a snow emergency, and you can hear me say, Mayor Mike has declared a snow emergency. Stay home. But I mean, so I can explore some options. I mean, you're talking, the one thing we can do there also is if you're doing garbage notifications, you're doing sewer notifications, you're potentially doing stormwater, I just hit my P really hard there, sorry. Potentially doing stormwater notifications for heavy rains, check your basins. You could spread the cost across all the funds because it's benefiting all the different funds.
I'll definitely look into it, because, yeah, anything is an improvement to get more people in the loop of what's going on.
You're still gonna have people complain.
Oh,
Oh, I
that's
don't-
always.
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so much easier to say I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it also, you know, if we're truly doing our 100% of our due diligence to try and notify everybody, and especially on those critical things, police incidents, those type of things, you know, the county has a system called Code Red, which that's what Allentown had it, their own version of, and that's replaced, you know, years ago you used to have reverse 911 when everybody had a landline. So all the water departments are required by law to have a reverse 911 system or a dialer to get all their customers. Now that's where all of these different software systems will come in because people don't have landlines anymore.
Yeah, I just got I got a phone call from the city of Bethlehem that they were flushing the hydrants.
Yeah, I mean, I have a landline, but a lot of people don't. People make fun of me because I have
But
it.
even the water department, they were flushing, I got a message the other day, they said we're gonna be flushing on these days, may have low water pressure, so.
Yeah, now I'll ask Bethlehem what they use because they're using the product also. So
All right, anything else on that?
I'll do some research.
Moving right along, we have Keith Ziner in the house? Zahner in the house. He is our candidate to be the new zoning and code enforcement officer. His resume, an impressive resume, was included in your packet. He's in the house tonight. Does anybody have any questions for him? You want to stand up? No questions. All right, the recommendation of the Personnel Committee was to offer him a position of employment to be the new zoning and code enforcement officer, and Mr. Grants will help me out with the package, the salary and compensation package.
salary compensation. So the salary is $65,000. He has the same package for the non-uniformed personnel, non-union personnel here. As far as vacation or all the medical benefits, and then we've granted him 2.5 weeks of vacation to start since it is a
For this
professional
year.
position.
For this year.
Correct.
All right, any questions about that? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the hiring of Mr. Zahner.
So moved?
Ms. Jordan, Mr. Trable seconds it. Any questions on the motion? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Trable, Ms. Graham,
Yes.
Ms. Jordan.
Yes.
Mr. Trotter.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, sir. It's unanimous. For the record, he will be formally starting May 26th. He's working out a notice, and I guess the approval is also, the motion is also contingent upon the physical and the.
Everything's completed.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He is ready.
He
to
is
go.
on board as of May 26th.
He could start tomorrow if he wants. Hint, hint. Or right now.
Next action item will be a motion to approve the appointment of Brian Leibel. Brian Leibel to the position of our Public Works Crew Leader with $1.25 an hour raise. Per the collective bargaining agreement, this is being recommended by the Public Works Committee
Yes,
and by
yes.
Mr. Corey. Any questions about that? Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve his appointment.
So moved?
Miss, wait a minute, time out. Miss Jordan, Mr. Trotter. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, Mr. Trable,
Yes.
Miss Graham,
Yes.
Miss Jordan,
Yes.
Mr. Trotter,
Yes.
and I vote yes. He is now approved. Finally, the motion to approve the hiring of Kaylee Lavernier, and that is the daughter of our former Public Works Director, James Lavernier, as the Recreation Program Coordinator Manager for the summer of 2022. That's at $20 an hour, correct? With no benefits, no
That-
other benefits.
That is correct, yes. $20 an hour, no medical or any of the other benefits.
And she will be there the whole 6 hours, 3 in the morning, 3 at night?
That is correct.
Five days a week?
And she also would be absolutely interested if Ms. Johnson is able to secure movie night plans or any of those other things. She would be more than happy to facilitate that as well.
Okay.
So I think she's an ambitious young lady and will be a very good pickup for us.
Her application and her resume was also included in our packet, or were also included in our packet. Are there any questions?
And she could not be here tonight. She actually picked up a shift at her other job in CVS Pharmacy because they were short. So I told her that was fine.
All right. Seeing and hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve her hiring as our recreational program coordinator / manager for the 2022 season.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Trable, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Graham, any questions on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Trable,
Yes.
Ms. Graham,
Yes.
Ms. Jordan,
Yes.
Mr. Trotter,
Yes.
and Mr. Blatt says yes. Any other action items?
No, sir, not for tonight.
Privilege of the floor. This is anybody's chance to address council on any issue whatsoever. Seeing and hearing none, there will not be an executive session tonight. I will again remind everybody about the May 27th Memorial Day program. It's usually well attended, but you never have enough people there to honor our war dead. And if you haven't seen the plaque and the memorial out there, you should take a look at it. And if you want to buy a brick, I think we're still selling bricks, Mr. Grants? Are we still selling bricks there?
We haven't sold any bricks in the 9 months I've been here, but I'm
Well-
sure we could make that happen.
All right, if somebody wants to buy a brick to honor the dead and have their name permanently attached to the memorial, please consider it.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure we can figure out how to do that.
Our
So,
next
yes.
meeting will be June 6th, which is D-Day. There's no executive session, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Trable, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Graham, there'll be a rising vote. Thank you for everybody for coming out. Hope to see you June 6th.
Congratulations, thank you so much.
There literally is, most of these things, there was absolutely no road map. We probably have people. Normally you go back and you also can find stuff.
We don't need that third one.
No, I see, yeah, let me see if I can, so Whitehall Beach, I'll reach out to them.
I think
I'm full
We don't have a big space.
Yeah, yeah,